So let's talk about love now. For a long time, I sort of went through this period where either I was intensely involved with somebody or I was single. When I was about 23, I had sort of met my first significant partner who became, my fiance at the time. He was 17 years older than me, and he had three daughters. He lived in Calgary, Canada, while I lived in Chicago, US. Okay, so you can see that there was a lot of elements that were not quite normal. But that relationship really reflected to me my core subconscious misbeliefs and patterns about my relationship to my father, just relationship to love, to men in general. I had a father whom I didn't see for many, many years, since I was 12. When my parents got divorced, I was 12 years old, and my mom took me and my brother to the US. We moved there, and then I just hadn't seen my dad since, until I was about maybe 20. So I had kind of a long distance relationship with my dad, my biological father, and I just thought that was normal. I just really thought that was normal. That's how it is. So when I had met my ex-fiance, you could say, and we had a long distance relationship, I just thought, oh, not a big deal. That's just normal, because that was my normal. And same thing, I didn't have a father, so a part of me, it's like every little girl needs a dad, right? So because I didn't have that growing up, I again unconsciously was looking for somebody who was a really good father. And he was a really good father. He had three girls, he adores them, and he was just really, really good dad. That was one good thing about him. I just really admired his parenting skills, his relationship to his daughters. There were three lovely girls whom I really adored, but they were more like my little sisters. I was only maybe like 12 years older than the oldest one. So yeah, because he and I had a big age gap, and that was just my love life. I thought that's how things should be. That's how things are supposed to be. I didn't know to even ask for something different. Like, it was not in my conscious awareness that I maybe could have a different kind of relationship. I just didn't know. So anyway, things progressed. A lot of things have happened. I left my corporate job, then I started teaching dance, and then he broke up with me. And we just had arguments and things like that. And then it was like the first time I had kind of a wake up moment. I was like, wait a minute, something's not quite right. I felt that something's not quite right. Why would I have a relationship like this? Obviously, it was never going to work out, dating somebody so far away, only being able to see them every 2 months. And so I started my spiritual journey, and again, that relationship was over. I went into another relationship right away. Again, it was with somebody older. This time, it was a man who was 22 years older than me. He definitely had kids already, 2 kids. They're all adults. I mean, they literally were like my age, okay, just maybe a few years younger. But he loves his children. That's one good thing about him. He loves his children, and he wanted to have more kids. He said that to me when he met me. I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to have kids. I was like 27 at the time. And anyway, we broke up after a few months because I just thought, this is not quite right. This is not quite right. So that really started to kind of shake me. I was like, okay, I need to change something about myself on the inside, because why would I keep attracting this? So I went through the next 6-7 years with no relationship. I guess I just was not, I didn't want to enter into another one. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and if I was dating somebody, it never lasted longer than a month, okay? So I just went from sort of like date to date to date, and I didn't really care. Nobody was like a serious candidate. I just thought, okay, and then I just kind of when my pendulum swung to the other side. I thought, okay, this is going to be my new normal. I'm just going to be a single woman. I'm going to be like the Eternal Bachelorette, I thought. And I thought, it's fine. I don't need anybody. I didn't think it was a big deal. Because after a while, I just got used to being single, you know. And until I, of course, started channeling the spiritual guides. I felt this inkling, you know. I thought, okay, I'm ready for a partner, you know. By then I was already in my 30s. I felt like I was ready for a partner. But I didn't know what kind of person I want to be with. I didn't know the kind of men, besides the father type, I would just go for people who looked good on resume. Like I dated people who were brain surgeon, graduated from Harvard, or they were CEOs, graduated from Stanford, or they were working for, Elon Musk. Just people who looked good on paper, right? But they're not necessarily good for me. They're good people, just not necessarily good in a relationship with me. And the guides. So there was kind of a break in my life where I was in Iceland for 3 months, and then I had an opportunity to go to Thailand. Long story short, I was following a kind of boyfriend, not really a serious relationship. So he was like, hey, let's go to Thailand. So I went to Thailand. We broke up like in 4 days. And once I got to Thailand, I think my mind really started to completely change. Then I started to channel the spiritual guides like more seriously and more regularly. Like I had conversations with them practically every day. And they said, there's no pressure, just go out, meet people, it doesn't matter. And then I met my boyfriend now, the boyfriend I have now, whom I've been with for 2 years, and we lived together. I moved in about a year ago. It's a challenge, okay? I just want to be very direct and very straight. It had been a challenge at the beginning, and then I didn't, and then we moved in, and it was like, oh my God, now I have to like live with somebody new, and he doesn't know how to live with somebody new, and I didn't know how to. And I have to say, if it weren't for the spiritual guides teaching me how to take personal responsibility, how to own my own feelings and not just project negativity onto the other person, and learn to be comfortable, just in my own space. Honestly, this relationship would have ended a long time ago. And it had, we had broken up many times, because he was struggling and I was struggling. And I'm very grateful that the spiritual guides really taught me. Like every time some drama came up, my instinct is just to leave, okay? But the guides said to me, they said, okay, you can leave. We promise you somebody else that's similar will come into your life, because that new person is going to match your vibration. Okay, so you can't run. They're like, where are you going to run to? Like, where are you going to go? And they were very actually direct. And they said, well, where do you think you're going to go, and where do you think you're going to run to? Because you have no place to hide. Okay, because the universe will always meet you in terms of vibration, So then I was like, okay. I had gone through this period where I just sort of resigned in myself. I was like, okay, I'll listen to you. But I started taking it more seriously. I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen and practice the lessons, because they'll tell me something, tell me to practice like a different approach, maybe say something differently. Like they would teach me exactly how to say some things, and then I would practice on him. But over time, it got better. Over time, I felt more comfortable within myself, and it's like, actually, the other person is just a mirror of you. They're just reflecting who you are, and when you shift your vibration, you'll find that they also start to change their vibration naturally, like without you having to force them. So I tell you this because I am someone who really sucked, in this area. honestly was an area that I had no control over, didn't really understand how to manage. And through this process of learning with the guides, applying the lessons, implementing it, that's key, implementing it, then, I started to see results, right? And that's just how it works. So I encourage you to look into learning from the guides in the 12-week course, because we're going to teach you how to step by step change the way you think about yourself, change the way you think about the world, and change your relationship with another person. And it's going to be week by week by week by week by week, okay? And every day you're going to have a lesson from the guides that I've channeled for you. You're going to follow that, and during the 6 bonus classes, you can ask your personal questions. Maybe you have a personal question about relationship, could even be money or some other questions, doesn't matter. You're going to ask the guides, and I will channel the answer for you, so you can then use the answer and then practice it. Okay, that's the key. You have to practice it. That's the reality. And then you get feedback. You practice it and you get feedback, and then you'll get to a point where things will become comfortable for you, because you will have kind of overcome those bumps, those challenges along the way. Okay, so I hope to see you on the inside. Make sure you go through the page that I put together, the information page I put together. Read through, the study section to learn about, the different lessons that we're going to go through every single day. Okay, so I hope to see you on the inside, and keep working, keep practicing, and keep loving yourself. See you next time.